around. Follow me
sunnier than where I've just come from, and warmer. Boy, have I got a story to tell you. But first, I need to collect my bike box and get out of this airport. Thank you so much, dude.
No problem.
Cheers.
No problem at all. You have a good night.
And you. Thank you, sir. Is there like pushy things? Oh, they're over there.
Yeah.
Cheers to the awesome guy who saved me $5 by finding me one of these trolley things, so I don't have to break my wrist again by carry my bike box around. So this is where I'm going, and that's not Vancouver, Canada. It's only, as the crow flies, it's only 3 miles, but by road it's a lot longer. So this video is going to be a lot less about cycling than I'd imagined, or indeed hoped for. Let me start the story from the beginning. So if you watched my last video, you would have seen we were riding back from downtown San Francisco, and we had actually just had a little bit of a race. Basically, I had a silly crash at a low speed and managed to probably, I think, most likely break my wrist. But more importantly and crucially, I broke my rear mech on my Ribble. The mech hanger sheared clean off, and that's a very difficult part to find. It's not like you can go into a bike shop and get a new one. So it left me a little bit stranded.
Follow me around, walk into the unknown. I can see you now, and we don't have to be alone.
Thank you so much, guys. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Perfect sky.
You're in for a wild ride. You can drive, just so you know.
Follow me around, walk into the unknown. I can see you now, and we don't have to be alone.
The ironic thing is, in all my years of racing at that level, I've never had a bad crash. I've crashed and I've had some road rash, but I've never broken bones. So I guess I had it coming. So having just got out an Uber and then having crashed, it left me having to call another Uber to get back to our apartment for that evening. The crash couldn't have happened at a worse time. You know, we'd just been in San Francisco for a few days, resting up, and it happened right at the end, where we had the rest of the trip to complete, and no rest stops planned to kind of figure out what to do. At this point, I was straight on the phone to the guys at Ribble to see how quickly they could send a replacement hanger. I could ride with my wrist just about, but I knew that bike would be a problem. The only way that I could continue on with the trip was to make my bike into a single speed. Now luckily James knew how to do this. You take off the rear mech and then you shorten the chain. Definitely a bodge. It's definitely not made to do that. Tiny dog, almost not worth having. It kind of worked. The gear I was set on was 39.15, and the maximum speed I could get to was about 15 miles an hour. It was going to be a long day in the saddle.
I can see you now, and we don't have to be alone. Chase you in my dreams, clouds.
I will avoid boring you with the details of that leg, but let me tell you, it sucked. We didn't leave until quite late, but the leg took a lot longer than it should have done, and we didn't arrive until 10:30 at night, having ridden for a couple of hours in the dark. The thing that was keeping me going was knowing that maybe the next day we could reset the gear that I could use into the big ring, and so that maybe I wouldn't have to spin out on every single time I spun the pedals pretty much. Upon awaking the next day in Bodega Bay, James tried to reset my gear. In doing so, unfortunately broke the chain tool, which left us a little bit without options. The more we rode up the coast, the further we'd get from any kind of chance of finding a bike shop if something else was to go wrong. After San Francisco, you've got Santa Rosa, and then you haven't got a lot until you reach over the border into Oregon. I took the hard decision to take a flight from Santa Rosa to Portland and wait for the boys to arrive 6 days later. And so, that is the story of what got me here. I'm actually just staying over the river, over the border in Washington, Vancouver to be exact. Weirdly enough, I'm actually staying with a family that a good friend of mine, Taylor Gunman, hit me up with when I was in a time of need. And going back a few years, he actually lived downstairs in the basement here and stayed with this family for a couple of years, along with Mike Northey. So thanks for hitting me up, bro. I've landed on my feet. All in all, I'm pretty lucky, as it could have been a whole lot worse, but I'm gutted to be missing that last bit of the trip, which I'm told is beautiful right up here to Portland. All the best to those two boys which I've left behind. I feel bad, trust me, but I'm sure they'll be just fine, and I can't wait to see them soon. This is the unfortunate damage on my Ribble. As you can see, we're all good other than the missing hanger here. It's completely sheared off, as you can't see. There you go. As you can see from this angle here, there you go. It's sheared off. That's the only bit of the bike that's broken. Unfortunately, because through the mountain biking technology, unfortunately because it's that, you can get hangers that are like temporary hangers, but because it is a very specific part, it meant that I wasn't able to continue. Anyway, that's the story of my last couple of days. I think I've been pretty lucky here. I've landed with a cycling family, as you can see by all the bikes in the background in their shed, or garage should I say. I'm doing alright. I'm watching the Tour de France in the day. I've got my legs up eating pizza whilst my two mates slog themselves up the west coast into a headwind, so you know, it could be a lot worse. As usual, thanks for watching, guys. That's kind of it for today. If you do want me to do another video before the boys come, then maybe it will be like a Q&A kind of video. Maybe we'll answer some of your questions. So if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.
We don't have to be alone. Hold the speed, chase you in my dreams. No clouds in the perfect sky. No clouds in